First time for everything. First time for a podcast. First time for a blog. First time for a vlog. First time for just a rambling of thoughts. Not a rambling rabbit, a rambling of thoughts. And this one is about one of my interests, WWE. So my name's Will Forrest, hence WF in the title. I'm just looking at TLC at the moment, looking at the card for TLC, and there's hardly any matches, any feuds really going into it. Not many storylines at all. I mean, you could say that the ones that have had the most investment really are the Roman Reigns, Baron Corbin storyline, which, it probably could have been a lot better than it is, and you can tell that Reigns is going to come out on top, especially with that rumoured Royal Rumble victory in the pipeline. As it's been rumoured, hasn't it, that they want him back in the main event for WrestleMania. Apart from that, the only other storyline, I don't even know whether you can call it that really, because it's only been on one episode of SmackDown. That's prior to this recording of my thoughts, and that's The Miz versus Bray Wyatt. Now, to me, it's intriguing, and it's a shame it hasn't had a lot more of a build than it has so far. But you do feel like this could go somewhere. It really, really could, especially with that added Daniel Bryan versus The Fiend element. I mean, Bray Wyatt, The Fiend, obviously two different people. Is Bray Wyatt the person who will put other superstars over so that they protect The Fiend? That's certainly a theory amongst fans on the internet. You know, you protect The Fiend, he doesn't lose, yet Bray Wyatt does pick up those losses, but does it need to be that way? Could The Fiend not have been involved in matches and still lost? Maybe lost in, circumstances where he didn't get pinned, he doesn't get submitted. A bit like the awful Seth Rollins Hell in a Cell, but not that bad. So for me, this whole Miz Wyatt storyline, how the Miz is there going after his family to make sure that they're saved from the maniacal Bray Wyatt, this could have been the Fiend that was doing this to the Miz's family, and the Miz still goes after them. It turns to the TLC match, and it's the Miz versus the Fiend. We know that Daniel Bryan's been taken out, that there's every possibility that he might show up. And you have a TLC match, the Miz versus Bray Wyatt. Imagine what all the carnage that could be created. Imagine having the Miz there, seeing a different side of him, an angry side of him, one where he's really annoyed that Bray Wyatt has done this and targeted his family, so he uses everything. He uses chairs to put the Fiend down. He sets up the tables, he sets up the ladders. It's not so much about the championship, but that's still on the line. And the Fiend just keeps coming back for more, back for more, back for more. He can hit him with skull-crushing finales through tables, onto chairs. He can do whatever the hell he wants, but the Fiend keeps fighting back. And then you get to the end, and Miz is climbing that ladder, and just as you think he's about to get that championship, the Fiend manages to get up, locks in that mandible claw. The Miz's hands slowly start to release from the championship, but then you get the return of Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan coming out, attacking the Fiend, hitting him with a chair, knocking him off the ladder. The Miz somehow managing to come back round and win that championship. Okay, it might not be everybody's cup of tea because the Fiend has lost his belt. But does the Fiend need a belt? No, he doesn't. He's a bit like The Undertaker, isn't he? He doesn't need that championship. He's already a star. Yes, it's a bit soon to take it off him if he has just won it. but it enhances the storyline. He hasn't got pinned, he hasn't submitted, and he's lost because of interference in a match, where interference can happen without a disqualification. It enhances that Daniel Bryan feud further as well. Maybe down the line then, going into the Rumble, The Miz tells Bryan that he didn't need his help, but he appreciated it. Then you have The Fiend going after Daniel Bryan and The Miz again. Maybe because after Bryan and The Miz saves him, adding to that dynamic. And it all leads to a triple threat match. The Miz, Daniel Bryan, and The Fiend at the Royal Rumble. And then you pick a winner from there. Do you keep the belt on The Miz? If you do, who does he feud with then going further forward? You put it onto Bryan, same question. He'd probably carry on feuding with the Fiend. And then you put it on The Fiend. Does he lose it to Roman Reigns at Mania? And as much as I like Reigns, we need The Fiend to get a WrestleMania victory. Definitely. It's long overdue. If you beat him Mania now, then you might as well write the character off. There's no point. Put him into a match. Make it a marquee match. If it's going to be for the title, he has to be going for the title. Otherwise, stick him in there with someone like Triple H. Down with the machine. Remember that from before. And it could easily be linked back in. Or, of course, you've got The Undertaker. There's a list of people that they could fight. Further still, with TLC, you have to wonder, from the 7 matches that there are so far that have been advertised, where on earth is the Intercontinental Championship and the United States Championship now? The United States Championship has been having a bit of a renaissance on Raw, mainly because of Brock Lesnar not being around at the moment, having that hiatus until the Royal Rumble. So you'd sort of think that Rey Mysterio would have a match, whether that was a big ladder match with multiple people, Humberto, Ricochet, Orton, Styles, McIntyre. Ray could come out on top. Anybody there really could win that title match, get to the top of the ladder and take it, and you'd be happy. I'm sure they could work wonders, but it's nowhere to be seen. And do we want another Styles Rey Mysterio match where Orton will interfere? I'd prefer to see something different, and I'll get to that a little bit later on. But the Intercontinental Championship, it's a very prestigious title. They've obviously recently changed it, and you'd be thinking there'd be a lot more emphasis on it. Maybe there will be. Maybe there will be on SmackDown tonight. But Nakamura needs to do more with it, needs to be given more with it, Have him and Sami Zayn strutting around like they're all the roost. Have him as the king of strong style again, and Sami Zayn as a young Paul Heyman. Add a couple of people into a group for them. Have a little faction. You've got the king of strong style. Play off on that. Have some vignettes where Nakamura's, sat on a king's throne, very nonchalant, crown on his head, holding that title. You had the people backstage wanting to come up and interview him, and he goes to respond, and Sami Zayn says, no, I've got this, I know what you want to say, King. And Sami Zayn carries on talking for them, and in the end, Nakamura says, Sami, to which Zayn goes, I'm sorry, I have digressed. What the king wants to say is, we don't speak English, and have him do that heel manoeuvre like he was doing before when he first turned on AJ Styles, where he said that he didn't speak English. Have Sami Zayn do that as well. Have a couple of other people in their faction. Who would be good? I don't know. Could you put the Revival in there? Who knows? No one knows what's happening with the Revival at the moment. They're an awesome tag team. They were great when they were teamed up with Orton not that long ago, and they've consistently shown the high caliber matches that they can have. But have a couple of people go with Nakamura, you know, have that stable, have Sami Zayn talk for them, take it from there. So we'll digress a little bit from TLC, and we will come back to it at the end. But let's talk about NXT. NXT has obviously been on form, winning at Survivor Series, though there hasn't really been any mention. Well, there hasn't been any mention of that really at all. Following, apart from the Undisputed Era, telling everybody how great they were and how they won it for everyone, and how brilliant they were at War Games, despite not actually winning there. But wow, what great matches. And then you see the emergence of a star, and that star isn't Matt Riddle. He's amazing, don't get me wrong. It's not Finn Balor, we all know how good he is. It's not Ciampa either. It's Keith Lee. Keith Lee has been on fire. You know, the gif with him and Balor from a week ago on NXT, the matches he's had, the talking, how everybody just reacts to him. I wouldn't be surprised to see Keith Lee in the Royal Rumble. And I say that even more so now that he didn't win that number one contenders match. I could see him going into the Rumble, coming up to the main roster after WrestleMania and taking things on from there and being a real big star, getting a real big push. Now, the winner of that match, Finn Balor, he's been awesome. He's been absolutely awesome since he's gone back down to NXT. The whole attitude change. Is he a face? Is he a heel? What is he? He's not a demon. He's a prince. But he's there. He looks like a rock star. He is cool as you like. The win and the way that match ended with the coup de grace onto Keith Lee after he'd done his finisher was breathtaking. It really, really was awesome. So for me, you look at Balor and you know that he's going to be the face of NXT again. But at the moment, really, the face is Ciampa or Cole. You know that in the future, Balor's got Gargano. For me, I would like to see Balor take the title off Cole. I love Adam Cole. I'm one of his biggest fans. He's one of my favourite superstars. Definitely my favourite in NXT. But I think that you can do a lot with this. I think you have vignettes play at the start of NXT next week, in which people talk about the match and they all allude to the fact that Cole always needs help. Cole can't do it on his own. He needs the Undisputed Era by his side, which prompts Cole to tell Strong, Fish and O'Reilly that he doesn't want them at ringside no matter what. He's fighting Balor. It gets to the end and Balor manages to pull off the victory. Cole's annoyed. Cole tells the rest of his little group that he expected their help at ringside. They argue. It goes on for a couple of weeks or so. But it leads to Balor versus Cole at TakeOver of Royal Rumble weekend. Ladder match. There's a lot of ladder matches at the moment, aren't there? But ladder match, they're taking each other on. Maybe Gargano comes back in that time as well. So you've got the three of them. Cole and Gargano have got history. Gargano and Balor obviously have, and Balor and Cole now have. So Balor's taken out. Gargano and Cole climb the ladders. And as it's getting to the top and the train, he blows and Gargano looks like he's about to get on top, the Undisputed Era hit the ring. They take down Gargano. They beat him up. They call Cole down from off the ladder. And they tell him to hit Cole with a finisher. He does, hits him with the last shot, stands there, but then in a sudden turn of events, the Undisputed Era take down their Undisputed Era armbands, hit the high low to Cole, and they reveal that there's Balor Club armbands underneath. the Undisputed Era armbands. Then they'd hit the high-low because of Cole being in shock. They set the ladder up. Balor climbs up. They hold Cole in place so he has to watch as Balor climbs that ladder and reclaims the title. He comes down. They beat the hell out of Cole. Now, you can then put Cole straight onto the main roster, or you can keep Cole down on NXT and make him a legitimate face, because let's face it, Adam Cole, everybody loves him. It doesn't matter how he acts. He's a modern day Shawn Michaels, you know. And I hate to say that I'd split up the Undisputed Era because they're phenomenal. They're one of the best factions I've ever seen since I've been watching. But yeah, what a way to turn Balor heel, and what a way to elevate Cole even further. So I said that I'll go back to TLC, and the reason I come back to that is because I want to talk about my favourite storyline. Even though it hasn't got a match there, you get the feeling it might do, or something's going to happen soon anyway, and that's AJ Styles, Randy Orton. Now, I'm not going to lie, I'm a massive Orton mark. He's definitely my absolute favourite wrestler, back from, you know, the 2010 Tweener turn, and the way that he was, and all the stuff before that as well, when he attacked McMahon and his family. But these two, the way he's costing AJ Styles, the way that Styles is doing the little backstage segments with the OC, they're all phenomenal, no pun intended, but absolutely brilliant. You know that when they have a match, it will be quality. It will be better than the WrestleMania match, and it will finish somehow with Orton coming out on top, I would imagine. However, both of these guys do need a push. To establish Styles as one of the top heels, or the top heel, apart from Lesnar and Rollins, he needs a win over Orton. But I get the feeling that Randy Orton's now being positioned to be the top face on Raw. Now, that could be a bit controversial because you've got Kevin Owens, who's in that storyline with Rollins, and you've also got Rusev, who gets those amazing reactions. And for me, the way that I would see it going is I'd have Orton beat Styles. Styles then needs a quick victory over someone. Maybe that's over Mysterio to get his belt back. Orton moves on to someone else, another heel, someone who's up there but can afford to take a defeat. Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley beats Rusev at TLC. Orton goes on to Lashley. In the meantime, you've got to have someone go after Lesnar. It's not going to be Owens. Owens is going to be preoccupied with Rollins. It won't be Mysterio again. Maybe it's Rusev. Now, I know that sounds daft because he's just lost Lashley, but whenever is the logical booking? You know, so Rusev and Lesnar can have their match at the Royal Rumble, and it's a close fight. Brock Lesnar wins, and it starts off Rusev going on a bit of a losing streak, or continuing a losing streak until he gets to Mania, takes on Lashley and beats him, and has a Macho Man moment. I say that because you needed someone in between now and WrestleMania for Lesnar, and that man's Randy Orton. Randy Orton versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, and Randy Orton gets his revenge for that SummerSlam defeat a couple of years ago. He hits him with the RKO. He hits him with the punt. It doesn't need to be a long match. It can be a quick match. Randy Orton comes out victorious, and with that, he automatically elevates himself to the top of Raw again, which I believe is where they want him, especially after his recent bookings and how they are seemingly turning him face. And from there, Orton can use his star power to put other people over. Eventually, he can lose his title to a Drew McIntyre, a heel Seth Rollins. He can lose it to AJ Styles, you know, but I think really you've got that one person, the one full-timer with star power that's a face in Randy Orton, and you put that belt on him until Kevin Owens is ready to run with it as a face. You have Orton lose to McIntyre. McIntyre eventually turns into a face, or Samoa Joe. You think of the feuds he could have: Orton Joe, Orton McIntyre, Orton heel Rollins again, face Orton, face Owens. There's quite a few there. They could be great. You've got Lars Sullivan coming back as well. It wouldn't surprise me to see them do a Jinder Mahal and put the title on him to see how he does. But for me, he's the man who's going to beat Brock Lesnar. Those are just my thoughts. I'll maybe in the future I'll do this again at some point. Hopefully people enjoy it. They listen. You don't mind my Brummie accent too much. I'll get a couple of other people on, share their thoughts as well. But if you liked it, please like, please subscribe. I'll do these every now and again, as I say. Tell me what your thoughts are. Tell me your fantasy bookings. Tell me what you think about the current landscape in WWE. Tell me where things are going to go from now. I will do a Royal Rumble prediction of the 30 superstars that I think will be in it, and also a WrestleMania card prediction as well. I'll probably do about 30 matches for that because they're getting longer every year. But we'll do that. We'll see what comes true, what from it, see how accurate we are. Thanks for your time. Nice one. Cheers, Tar. Thank you very much.